Hello, this is Steve David Kozik, Chief Spiritual Officer for the Lovemakers Foundation, a 501c3 spiritual charity who's committed to bringing love to the world, and just as importantly, to bring love to each and every person on this planet. What our motto is to find a hurt and heal it. Find lack of love and give love to it. After delivering over 350 love messages, I had some trouble this week with everything going on in the world and everything at work, everything going on. I had trouble figuring out, what am I going to talk about this week? But then I was at Barnes & Noble and I was looking through the memoir section. Then I realized that Deborah and I are writing a personal memoir for a client of ours. And it came to me. Why not a talk on memoirs? This week's love message is embrace love, write your spiritual memoir. Sounds simple, doesn't it? And I think that by writing something, putting something pen to paper, especially in today's society, that it comes into your heart, mind, and soul, and you're communicating with your heart on paper through your mind, heart, and soul. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin has a very profound quote. He says, "We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience." And I think that's what we are. The fact that we're all made of energy, that we're all made of consciousness, that's just energy, but it's a spiritual energy. Spiritual love essence is an essence of compassion. It's empathy. It's something greater than ourselves. It connects us, and you live your life connected to the divine, connected to God, connected to one another. It's not just living life to satisfy your own ego needs, your own desires. It's about living in a paradigm where there's something greater than yourselves. But the problem is, most of us don't think about it, do we? We're too busy living life. That's where the spiritual memoir comes in. It gives you a chance to be by yourself, or even if you're at a coffee house, to reflect your own desires. Reflect what it is that you're about. Because when we live with spiritual love, we begin to see life not as a series of random events, but as a sacred story, your individual sacred story, your individual spiritual development, your individual observations and feelings about life. But how often do we really pause to reflect on the power of love in our life? You know that this Lovemakers Foundation is all about bringing love to the world. It's all about love. And I've even started to write a spiritual memoir. And what I have found for myself is that I have made all my life decisions based on love. And that's whether they were good decisions or bad decisions. Whatever happened to me, I also start viewing with love, because it gives me that broader perspective. That's why I'm proposing that we all sit down and write a spiritual, personal memoir. Because it's not only going to be healing, but it's going to be revelatory about your life, about your development, and give you a broad understanding of your life. It's going to trace the elements of your life. It's going to trace those moments and decisions of your life and how things worked out in your life. But it's going to help you look at life from your overall perspective of love. Did you give enough love? Have you received the love? What were the decisions that you made? Were they based on love? Where do you want to take your life? Have I forgiven enough? Have I had enough gratitude? These are all elements of love. Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. I look at some of the things in my life, and I said, boy, that didn't work out. Or yes, I was humiliated, or something happened in life. But then I realized as I was writing my personal spiritual memoir that perhaps God does have a plan for us. Perhaps I needed to have certain things happen to me so that I would be a person who lives in love, who believes in love, who has become absolute love. And I invite you, by writing in your personal spiritual memoir and looking at your life from the perspective of love, and looking at your future from the perspective of love and the power of love, that you'll find amazing grace in your life in this dimension, no matter what your religion. Because as I've talked about over the years that I've delivered these love messages, the several people I saw on their deathbed when I was working as an estate planning attorney. And of course I was, still spiritual then, and I was working toward, I was doing some weddings, working toward ministry in different organizations. But I still asked, I still said, well, what is your life about? What are your insights? And these people all died within the next 24 to 48 hours. And I asked them, and you know what they told me? Number one, we always get what we want in life. And that we actually did get what we want, although we don't realize it at the time. Number two, there is nothing to fear in this human dimension here on planet Earth. And finally, that they did not become love, that they did not live in love, that they did not give enough love, they did not receive enough love. And of course, once you realize that it's all about love, there will be no fear. And you'll be able to readjust what it is you want, and you'll be able to get what you want. But don't go to the last moments of your life with regrets that you didn't give enough love, that you didn't look at your life from a perspective of love. Dear God, this moment, we know love as absolute truth. We, this moment, shall do everything we can to bring the love from our hearts and bring it into our daily lives, each and every moment of our lives. We shall write in our spiritual love memoir with love, looking at our lives from the perspective of love, knowing that the power of love continues to grow in us each and every moment of our lives, and that infinite love is infinite, and that we are infinite love. I want to thank you. I thank my highest self, and I thank God, my highest power, for the time to be loved this moment. I release these words as absolute truth. So it is so, amen. So this weekend, and of course you have all summer, this weekend, sit down, jot something in a personal memoir. Ask yourself questions. Did your family have, for example, a tradition of watching sports? Whatever the questions are. Did I give enough love? Was I classy enough if a relationship broke up? How did I react? Did I react with love? Did I respond with love, or did I react with a negative response? It doesn't matter what you do, but go get something down on paper. Think about love. Become love. Get on that path to love. Remember, in 1 John in the Bible, he wrote, God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. So go in peace, go in love, get something on paper, and remember, love is the way.